I'm Leslie Bird, and I'm the Historic Gardens and Landscape Manager here at Mount Vernon.
And I'm Pam Hess. I'm the Executive Director of the Arcadia Center for Sustainable Food and Agriculture. We're just up the street, about 3 miles, and like Mount Vernon, we are based on a farm that was once owned by George Washington.
So here at Mount Vernon, we grow food in all of Washington's historic gardens, and that would include the upper garden, which is also a pleasure garden, and the lower garden, which was his kitchen garden. We also are growing vegetables in some of the outlying gardens, the nursery garden and the sundries field at the Pioneer Farmer site. And our visitors are always asking us, what do you do with all the produce that you harvest? So a lot of it we will share with our employees here because they are always interested in tasting what is growing out of the gardens. And we also share certain things with the inn, but we also have a partnership with Arcadia, and we will bring our harvest to them as well so that they can distribute them to our food to area food banks.
So Arcadia is dedicated to cultivating vibrant local food systems that prioritize health, equity, and sustainability from the farm forward. And so in that work, we are also growing food on a production farm, and we have an educational farm for little kids to learn where food comes from, and we train military veterans to be farmers, and that's actually another way that we work with Mount Vernon. We always come here every year and do a tour and a training with Mount Vernon farmers, and it's a real highlight for the military veterans who train with us. In the course of our work, we harvest all of our food, and most of it goes out to our mobile markets that serve neighborhoods in DC that don't have grocery stores, where people use food stamps or SNAP to buy food, and they don't have cars. So they're really limited in the kind of food that they can access if it's not immediately in their neighborhood. So we become their neighborhood farm stand. We also do a lot of food growing and distribution for food pantries in the neighborhood. And I think a while back we figured out we may as well combine forces and make one trip out there. So, so it's a great partnership where Mount Vernon will bring their excess stuff. Some of it goes out to our mobile market. The purple potatoes in particular are very popular.
Those are popular.
Yeah, with our customers. And then the rest of it will distribute to a bunch of food pantries that we work with. And in fact, during the height of the pandemic, I mean, we were moving tens of thousands of pounds of food out. So it's a really important partnership, and we're grateful that we get access to this stuff. It just adds to the bounty. Yeah. So Arcadia and Mount Vernon have been working together at least since 2016, when our then head farmer Catherine met and adored the head horticulturalist here, Dean, who acted as a real farm mentor. And in fact, Dean continues to be a rescuer to us when our tractor breaks down, and when we need a little help and guidance. So he's been awesome. But the two properties have been linked for hundreds of years. When George Washington had his whole Mount Vernon holding, it was 5 farms. And one of the farms was called Dogue Run Farm. And that's the farm that Arcadia farms as a tenant and partner to the National Trust for Historic Preservation at what is now the Woodlawn Pope Leahy site. So we go way back. So I think what's sort of magical about this partnership is Mount Vernon is there showing and telling a really important part of American history, and on this land that George Washington once owned. And there we are up the street, and we're accepting the fruits of that history, quite literally,
right.
And then figuring out how we address the inequities and the health challenges that we have now on historic property of our own. So, you know, taking what was and moving it into a future that's going to be healthier and better for everyone.
And you know, Washington was all about having the best food on his table, the best freshest vegetables, and I think he would be very proud to see what we have done with his gardens and how we feed possibly more people than he would ever have imagined feeding. So to support Mount Vernon, there are several ways. You can go to our webpage, mountvernon.org, and become a member. There's also a volunteer page, so you can sign up to volunteer here and maybe help pick some of our vegetables. And we also have a donate button that you can go to click to donate money.
Yeah, and at Arcadia, we love our volunteers. We go through tons and tons of them every year, working on our farm, learning alongside our farmers, and harvesting all the food that goes on the mobile market. We need volunteers to work our field trip programs to teach little kids about the origins of healthy food. We need volunteers on our mobile market. And of course, we love your money. So you can always mash the donate button at arcadiafood.org.